So that's your job. And your job is to be willing to die. You're a soldier, man. You're so on the front line. You've gone too far to turn back. If you went and hid in a basement for 6 weeks, people all over the world would think the government had killed you. So you have to understand your obligation, what the universe have gave you. And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer, to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you'll drive all over the country to chase us down.
It's like a stalker, though.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Chase us down. Okay?
I do feel like I have an obligation for people. I mean, it's bigger than me.
Yeah. But no, being business, you can't see it. It was business to Trump. He saw nothing.
All right.
Okay? I just saw it, that smile. Okay. And so again, I just say, man, I thank you. I look at Kathy Hughes, what she's able to do with that children. I look at Carl Nelson, the Joe Madisons. You know, some can go further than others because some got leeway. But I just say, man, to sit here, my birthday, it's a weekend. Thank you for contributing to my birthday. You know, all I say is thank you. We move so fast. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're a family, I don't know if you're a wife. But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what, you know? I owe that to you. Because together, we can beat this thug. Because it's the universal God. And so again, I just say thank you. Thank you for running me down, man. So again, but that's the obligation that you have. How old are you?
I'm 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food.
Right.
There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Yes, sir.
And then you got to deal with people that think you're crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, that's their way out. I'm embarrassed that you told me this, and I didn't know it, so I think you're crazy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Gregory, and the birds of the great Duke Ellington. We love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Guess who's back? Back again. Brother Ron, please tell your friends. This is We All Be News. News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2 the artivist. Today's date is August the 16th, 2025. And Brother Ron is all the way live. Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got a podcast, and I kind of got paid, and I got my podcast that's live. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. I got something to talk about. There's a lot going on in the world. 2025 is not a square at all. It's all the way live on 2025. See. Okay. Yeah, we all be. You know, it has a little food on my face, but it's all right. It's gonna be all right. Yeah, all right. So I hope all's well out there. Got a lot to talk about. Short period of time, because 2 hours go by really, really fast. If you know what I mean. Go by really, really fast. But also, August 16th is a very interesting day in the occult. You know, August 16th, we lost back in 2018, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, made a transition to a righteous ancestor. August the 16th, 2018. I can't believe that's 7 years ago. You know, she was born in Memphis, Tennessee, in Soulsville, USA. Her house still stands where she came into this world and made her earthly debut. And she was raised in Detroit, born in Memphis, raised in Detroit. Father C.L. Franklin was a prominent Memphis preacher back in the day. Memphis was known as the New Jerusalem, something like that. You know, this is the place where preachers were made. Like I told people, Memphis has had its fair share of preachers, pimps, and lawyers. Sometimes all three in one. Preachers, pimps, and lawyers have came through, was made through Memphis, Maine. Memphis is a portal city for the energy of the universal God to come through and bless the planet. But Aretha Franklin folks are from Mississippi. Mother was a well-known and respected gospel singer in her own right. Father C.L. Franklin was known as the $1 Million Voice. It was at C.L. Franklin's church that Dr. King did a rendition of I Have a Dream. Did the speech up in Detroit at Reverend C.L. Franklin's church, a rendition of it, you know, a perspective of it. But August 16th is a important day in the occult, because not only did Aretha Franklin pass, the Queen of Soul, on August 16th, you also had Robert Johnson, the king of the Delta Blues. You know, we just saw that movie Sinners came out. They kind of touched upon the legend of Robert Johnson making a deal with the devil himself. He passed away under questionable circumstances August the 16th of 1938. You also have the king of SWAT, the Bambino, Babe Ruth, made his transition August 16th of 1948. Then you have the one and only Elvis Aaron Presley. Thank him very much. He made his transition on August 16th as well. I think, was it 77? Let me look it up. You know, this past week, or this week, is Elvis week in Memphis, Tennessee. Full week of Elvis festivities. They always end it off with the candlelight vigil at Graceland, where he passed on. I want to see what year Elvis made his debut. Yeah, it's August 16th, 1977. Elvis left the building and left the planet. Oh, so August 16th is an interesting day, because you notice all the people I said that passed on August 16th, they were known as royalty in their profession. Whether it be Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, whether it be Robert Johnson, the king of Delta Blues, whether it be Babe Ruth, the king of baseball, Sultan of SWAT, or whether it be Elvis Aaron Presley, king of rock and roll, right? So all that's interesting, because America has an fascination, with royalty and the occult. So that makes sense. Then you got to think about the fact that out of the 4 notable passings, 3 of them have direct Memphis, Mississippi Delta roots. You know, Aretha's from Memphis, were born in Memphis, folks from Mississippi. Elvis from Mississippi, Tupelo, Mississippi, but he was connected to Memphis. And the Mississippi Delta, he had his home, Graceland in Memphis, passed on his throne. The king was on his throne in the restroom when he passed, allegedly. And also he had Robert Johnson. Yeah, he died down there in Greenwood, Mississippi, from Mississippi. So he had 3 connected to this region, which is interesting. to think about. But I just want to start that. And also let's get on with the get on. As y'all may have found out earlier this week, excuse me, I'm going to make sure my microphone is working. And y'all let me know. Y'all can hear me. Y'all get a new mic. Yeah, they'll solve that problem. But we had Ezekiel Kelly, the Memphis spree shooter. He was finally sentenced. You know, unless he's a vampire, I don't think he'll do all that time because they gave him like a lot of football numbers, multiple life sentences for his shooting spree that happened September of 2022. I can't believe it's been almost 3 years since they went down. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Try to get some visual. I'm a visual person. I'm a visual artist. And I know y'all visual too. I'm visual. Yes, indeed. Visual. Trying to put up some visual. I got a couple of stories, Ezekiel. I got my own thoughts about that whole situation with Ezekiel Kelly. It made national news, that thing. That situation 3 years ago, almost. That boy looking possessed, right? You see that picture near me, which will be, I guess, to the right if you flipped it, whatever. But the picture close to me, the mug shot, I believe that was taken after he was captured by the Memphis authorities, the police. Memphis so-called finest caught him this back in September. Had a one-day shooting spree. He deleted about 3 people. Some sources said 4. I actually believe he probably got rid of more than 3 people, to be honest with you, because like I don't trust the official story. Normally, the official story is the official lie, because they said one person was a victim earlier. Then they said that this person was killed unalive, whatever, deleted, took it out of here by somebody else. But I don't believe them. I think it was about keeping people kind of cool, calm, and collected. Because this dude, this 19-year-old kid, he's 22, I believe now. But this 19-year-old kid had the whole city of Memphis on lockdown for almost a day, about 20 plus hours. And I remember some of these shooting things took place near my home, my literal home. I was just blocks away from what this dude was doing in the streets of Memphis. He actually live streamed all this chaos on Facebook Live. You understand? He actually did that. And it was weird because, I always tell people you got to develop your intuition, your discernment. I was thinking about going to I think an open mic event, an art event at the K3 Studio Cafe, I believe, down on 3rd Street, not that far from me. Something told me, Ron, do not go outside. Do not go out tonight. Stay in. All of a sudden, I started getting these alerts and talking about a shooting spree going on in Memphis. They sending out alerts saying, people, please stay in your homes. Do not go out. We got a live shooter on the loose in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, Memphis is a medium-sized town. Memphis actually got more people in Memphis than they do in Detroit City and St. Louis. We got more people in Memphis in the city limits than they do. We got over 600,000 people in the Memphis city limits. So this one black YN, y'all like to call him YN, 19-year-old YN, had the whole city on lock. And what people got to remember during this time, this is right before the big Southern Heritage Classic football weekend, where you traditionally have Jackson State taking on Tennessee State. You're going to have primetime Deion Sanders, who was the coach of Jackson State at the time. This was to be his last Southern Heritage Classic football event that he was going to participate in, because nobody didn't know Deion was going to be gone within like a little bit over a year. He was leaving for so-called greener pastures and more money in Colorado, where he's at now. So I made sure, I wanted to attend this because I wanted to be in the presence of greatness on the sidelines, which was known as Coach Prime Time. But you got to think about it. This happened a couple of days right before the big Southern Heritage Classic weekend, which is a big money maker for Memphis, Tennessee, right? You know, you bring a lot of tourists, a lot of alums from Jackson State, Tennessee State coming in. Not to mention Eddie George, the football great Eddie George of Tennessee Titans and the Ohio State Buckeyes fame. He was the head coach for Tennessee State. So, you know, they couldn't have this loose cannon running around the streets of Memphis, making like it's open season on anybody moving through these streets, right? So they had to catch him by any means necessary. And I want to say this before I get too deep into it. I have a fellow coworker that told me on Friday that she used to work at the Circle K near the hospital where some of these things took place. She told me she encountered the young man that fateful day. She was the store clerk, right? Dude came in. He said his pupils was dilating like he was high on something, like he was out of his mind. And, you know, she was very aware. She read the room. She knew the situation. Ezekiel Kelly allegedly requested Newports. He said, how much are them Newports? You know, cigarettes. And she said $10 for a pack. He said, man, he started going. He kind of got upset about them being $10. Said, look, baby, I understand. She told him that, look, and she didn't know she was saving her life. Take my Mavericks, but give me 3 sticks back, but you could tell my Mavericks, my pack of Mavericks. He took her pack, left the store. Next place he went to, he started shooting people. Next place he went to, he started shooting people. So she was blessed to not get this dude capped. And the thing about it is, show another picture. This stuff, like, you got to start telling our own news, because I think it's very important we tell these stories, especially from my perspective. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing tonight. Tonight is the night. And, you know, because I see a lack in the telling of these stories with a certain type of sensitivity that our people bring when it comes to us, or we should have for us. Yeah, you see that picture with his grill, he's showing his grill. That was the night he was caught by the police, that shooting spree. Look how crazy he looked, man. Now look at the other picture. That's him currently now. He just pleaded guilty to all the things he committed. They gave him several life sentences. I said several life, not light, several life sentences, as well as some more decades, whatever. I think they're gonna have to exhume his body and, you know, exhume, or he's a vampire, because that's a lot of time they gave to do. They gave him multiple life sentences for that shooting spree. And you could tell he was high, flying high in the very unfriendly skies, but when he came down, he crashed, boy. And look at how you're looking now, very sober, pensive. 22 years old. He was 19 in the picture with the grill shining. But in that other picture, he's just 22. That's crazy. His life that's wow. But you know, it's interesting. On his shooting spree, he killed a lot of people. He killed 3 people that we know of, allegedly. There's 3 people. He went into Mississippi. That's why I say he couldn't plead insanity. Because I say, you know, could he plead temporary insanity? No. I'm gonna tell you why. Based on this one thing, he went into Mississippi. He crossed state lines to Mississippi. Went to the gas station. Carjacked a brother for his Dodge Challenger. Realized he was in Mississippi. Drove his ass right across the state lines. He drove right back across the state lines. Because Mississippi ain't playing with you, boy. You knew good well that you was not going to have a snowball chance in hell in surviving getting caught in Mississippi, because they was not going to waste no taxpayers' money giving you your day in court. They were going to settle that judge, jury, executioner on the spot while you live streaming. That's why I know he wasn't that gone. He looks crazy, but he ain't that crazy. He look crazy, but he ain't that crazy. So he went back across state line because Mississippi don't play. But Arkansas, now he went to Arkansas. They probably would have still got him in Memphis because Arkansas has a reputation for chasing folks across state lines. Like those guys that not that long ago, guys did some stuff in Arkansas. They thought if they crossed into Memphis, they were good. They crossed across that bridge, they were good. Those state troopers came across their bridge and got them or engaged them. So, like, I don't mess around in Arkansas. People understand how gangster Arkansas is. It's the natural state because they got natural ways to hide your body, man. If you get missing in Arkansas, you may stay missing. There's a truck driver, a black truck driver from Birmingham, I believe. He dropped out the payload, or he was on his way dropping out a payload, whatever they call it in the trucking business. Guy have a family. Man has disappeared. He left his truck in Arkansas. I don't know if it's outside Little Rock. We will do something on that story. It needs to be covered. And black grassroots, social media, new media, they have done their job in making people aware. But I don't think it has got any real mainstream or local news coverage like it should from traditional media. But that man disappeared, left his truck, and that's Arkansas. Arkansas ain't playing with you. Mississippi ain't playing with you. Memphis like to play around. But you might F around and find out. And that's what this brother ended up doing. So Ezekiel, he had his day in court this past week. They threw the book at him. I don't know if he could read the book, but he's going to have a lot of time to learn how to read. He'll have a lot of time to pursue it. If he don't got his GED, pursue his GED, pursue his master's, his doctorate. He'll have all the time in the world to do all those things. Unlike his victims, unfortunately. And I'm interested in knowing who created this Ezekiel Kelly guy. I have not seen any interviews by his loved ones or family members or people close to him to talk about how he came up, why he is the way he is, what trauma he been through in his life. He's still a human being, but he was demon possessed. He was on demon time back in the September of 2022. He did what he did. But let me read some stuff and catch y'all up on this Ezekiel case. And this is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm Brother Ron, your hostess with the mostest, man. And Memphis got so much going on that, it's only right that we cover it. I'm trying to find the information about Ezekiel. But yeah, who made this dude? Where does he come from? He definitely was on that stuff because even the lady, the store clerk at Circle K that works with me now, she even said that you can tell, you look at his pupils are very dilated. Look at that picture of him smiling like that. Like he was on some good stuff. Yeah, but it's really unfortunate. I'm trying to read a summary right quick for y'all. And I read a couple of things from the news. From Channel 3. Why did Ezekiel Kelly go on his deadly crime rampage? Ezekiel Kelly, 22, will never see the outside of prison after being given 3 life sentences for killing 3 people in the 2022 shooting spree in Memphis. Kelly's attorney said the decision to plead guilty was Kelly's after they presented him with options. It's giving them the time to process what's going on, what they're facing, and being able to then look at the options, said Ann Tempton, one of Kelly's attorneys. Now, for the first time, Kelly's attorneys told WREG what was going on in a 19-year-old Kelly's mind when he randomly shot people across the city. Mr. Kelly didn't set out on the morning this all started with the intention of going through and killing people, say Michael Scholl. They said he didn't write any type of manifesto or have a grudge. Interesting. In court, Kelly said he was in a dark place. There were several extreme losses He went through that summer. He was virtually homeless. He was a lot of things going on with him mental health wise, along with significant drug abuse at that time. And before this all happened, he'd been up for 3 or 4 days, Scholl said. Acquaintances who knew Kelly as a youth said he was a victim of poverty, which led him down a spiraling path of trouble. He's one of a few children in his home. The streets have essentially raised him since middle school. And what comes with our pain we're looking for remedies for that pain. Oh, how they write this? And what comes with our pain we're looking for remedies for that pain. And when you're growing up in poverty, again, poverty begets a lots of things. Tory Bates for the Kingdom Youth Services. How they wrote this stuff is kind of weird. All right, Scholl agreed, saying that in the juvenile system, Kelly was given several correction plans that weren't followed through. Take a look at Mr. Kelly's records. And it was time and time again until you have a young man who's 19 years old out in the streets, basically going from house to house, has mental health problems, is on a string of drug abuse, of which all these things were indicated a long time ago, says Scholl. Now Kelly says he wants to help other wayward youth. I feel that I could take advantage of it and use it to be a light to others around me and try to contribute to their lives to not make the same mistakes, Kelly said. Okay, this is one perspective. Yeah, okay. But there's a lot of people that go through things that don't choose the things or do the things that Mr. Kelly done. There's a lot of people that went through a so-called cycle of poverty, of abuse. So now we know a little bit about what he went through. I mean, he's a human being, but like life is about, it's not about what happens to you. It's how you respond to what happens to you. So there is the conundrum, but he chose a certain path. He effed around and found out, and every action, there's a reaction. Every action, every choice has a consequence. So he not only ruined his life, but he impacted the lives of the victims as well as their families, as well as survivors. They got to deal with whatever trauma and health realities they got to deal with based on the injuries that they survived from this man. Or, just 19 at the time. Now he's 22. And let's talk about the victims. Some of the victims, like the ones that got, deleted. This will all be news-free Dixie for the 21st century. We all be news-free Dixie for the 21st century. This happened not that far from me, man. This is crazy. I mean, I thank God I had the intuition and discernment to stay home that night instead of going out to explore. I could got more than what I was asking for if I did. These are the victims. That Dwayne Amir Tunstall, that was the first victim allegedly. That was in the wee early morning hours of the day. Allison Parker and Richard Clark, and I believe there were more victims that they try to downplay and try to disconnect from this situation. And Miss Tiffany, how you doing? He said, "Well, I'm doing up." Hey, it's a Saturday night. It's just where I'm at. It's 10:29 p.m. Central. Still kind of early. So I'm always up. Somehow I'll be like a night owl every other night. I work full time as well, but sometimes I like to stay up. It was a lot on my mind, so I just want to share with y'all what I've been thinking about for the past several days. Thank you for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Yay, yay. Thank you, Miss Tiffany. But I don't talk about the victims. Okay. Remember, he live streamed this on Facebook. That shit, it's crazy. That's new reality. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's crazy. Let me talk about his victims. Okay, I said Dwayne Tunstall, a childhood friend of Kelly, who was shot at around 1 a.m. on September the 7th, 2022. Allison Parker, a 38-year-old medical assistant who worked at a clinic in West Memphis, Arkansas, who was also shot during the incident. Richard Clark, a 62-year-old campus safety officer, at Christian Brothers University, who was shot during the shooting spree. These individuals were randomly targeted in what prosecutors described as senseless acts of violence, deeply traumatizing the Memphis community. The shooting spree was live streamed on social media, capturing the horror of the event for the entire city. Yeah, he was on Facebook streaming this, like he was playing some video game online or something. Just trying to get some idea, right? Said Memphis killer receives 221 years and 3 life sentences. They get a man 221 years and 3 life sentences. Excuse me. Read this a little bit. Sad, man. This is from the International Business Times. Who were Ezekiel Kelly's victims? Memphis killer receives 221 years and 3 life sentences. Kelly received 3 consecutive life sentences without parole. Wow. By Vinay Patel. Okay, thank you, Vinay. A teenager who plunged Memphis into lockdown during a live stream killing spree will spend the rest of his life behind bars after receiving 3 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus an additional 221 years. Ezekiel Kelly, now 22, pleaded guilty on Wednesday to 28 charges stemming from the September 2022 rampage that left 4 people dead and 3 wounded, whilst the entire city watched in horror. The night terror unfolded on social media. On 7th September 2022, Memphis residents found themselves trapped in a nightmare as Kelly, then 19, embarked on an hours-long shooting spree that he broadcast live on his Facebook and Instagram. The violent rampage began at approximately 1 a.m. when witnesses saw Kelly shoot Dwayne Amir Tunstall at a Memphis home, according to police affidavits. The terror continued throughout the city, involving multiple shootings and vehicle thefts, transforming ordinary streets into scenes of chaos as residents sheltered in place while authorities scrambled to stop him. According to Action News 5, the victims who lost their lives included 24-year-old Tunstall, 62-year-old Richard Clark, a campus safety officer at Christian Brothers University, and 38-year-old Allison Parker, a medical assistant who worked at a clinic in West Memphis. Arkansas. Each was randomly targeted in what prosecutors described as a senseless acts of violence that traumatized an entire community. All right. According to Aubrey Miller, the brother-in-law of deceased victim Richard Clark, he told Ezekiel, his name is biblical, but his actions were devilish. Kelly instantly started crying. Ain't that something? The verdict and sentencing. Kelly received 3 consecutive life sentences without parole, in addition to 221 years after attorneys entered guilty pleas. They entered guilty pleas for 28 counts on Wednesday. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy has previously stated his intention to pursue the death penalty in this case. Still, the guilty plea has since taken that option off the table. According to the attorneys, the deal had the approval of all the victims' families. The judge repeatedly questioned Kelly to ensure he understood he was giving up his right to a trial. Each time, Kelly responded, yes, sir. While Kelly had initially pleaded not guilty to his 28 charges, which included 3 counts of first-degree murder, the plea has now been reversed. And like, family, let me just hold that thought for me. Hold the thought for me. I'll be right back. That's a lot to think about right there. This man, this young man is 22, and they gave him 221 years and 3 consecutive life sentences. 22 years old. That's crazy, folks. Let me know y'all am having issues hearing me. I hope y'all can hear me loud and clear. Just trying to go through all this. This is a lot to process. Okay. Now they're talking about his troubled past. Excuse me. I'm sorry. They're talking about his troubled past now. I want to know who his parents are, who his people be, and what happened. The system seems like they failed him, but the system ain't really failing you when the point of the system is not to really help you realize your full potential. Majority of people in the way. According to many, Ezekiel Kelly is a stark illustration of the consequences of failing to provide adequate support for young people. Maybe so. This could be maybe. Kelly had been involved with the juvenile justice system, I call it just us system, for years before he embarked on the shooting spree that resulted in 3 deaths and placed the city under lockdown. When Ezekiel Kelly did 19 began a killing spree in Memphis on September 7, 2022, one of the people who confronted him later recounted seeing pure evil in his eyes. That same year, WREG spoke with individuals who had known Kelly since he was a child and were aware of the difficult life he had been leading. Okay, but why nobody intervened? Did people try to intervene? Where's the village? You know, people say they saw this coming, but why was no intervention? Or maybe there was intervention. Whatever. Here, this was a Raleigh kid, you know, someone who grown up in Raleigh, who went to Coleman Elementary right around the corner, and he dropped out of school, Tory Bates of Kingston Youth Services said in September of 2022. He's one of a few children in his home. Streets have essentially raised him since middle school. And what comes with our pain, we're looking for remedies for that pain. And when you're growing up in poverty, again, poverty begets a lot of things. The sentiment was echoed by Kelly's attorney, Michael Scholl, after the 22-year-old pleaded guilty to the killing spree. Scholl stated that Kelly became emotional and expressed a desire to help others in similar situations. Okay. Read the last parts of this article. A pattern of violence and early release. As a young person, Kelly had a history of being in and out of the juvenile just us system. Weeks before the shooting spree, he had been released from prison, where he had been serving time for a charge of criminal attempted first-degree murder. Let me read it again. This is Memphis. This is America. As a young person, Kelly had a history of being in and out of juvenile system, or out of the juvenile justice system. Weeks before the shooting spree, he had been released from prison, where he had been serving time for a charge of criminal attempted first-degree murder. Ain't that interesting? Had they kept him in prison, this may not have happened. He had pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of aggravated assault, for which he received a 3-year sentence. However, he was released just after 11 months on March the 16th, 2022. So he had got a 3-year sentence, but they released him after just 11 months on March the 16th, 2022, less than 6 months before his violent rampage. Wow. You can't make this stuff up, folks. When the system fails, communities pay the price. The rampage forced Memphis into unprecedented crisis mode. The city's public transit system shut down. 2 college campuses went into lockdown, and a minor league baseball game was suspended. The citywide shelter-in-place order, Memphis's first, left residents paralyzed with fear as Kelly live-streamed portions of his violent journey through their neighborhoods. Scholl offered a sobering assessment after the guilty plea. If you want to see an example of what happens when we don't do things for our youth and don't counsel them when they are younger, Kelly is an example. So when the all right, one witness who confronted Kelly during the rampage, okay, seeing pure evil in his eyes, but others saw a young man the system had abandoned long before he abandoned his humanity. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland stated bluntly, if Mr. Kelly served his full 3-year sentence, he will still be in prison today, and 4 of our fellow citizens will still be alive. See, it was 4 at first, y'all, but they made it 3 victims, dead victims, right? And I'm going to talk about that 4th victim that they said was a victim, then they took it back. But quite possibly, I believe this dude could have unalived a lot more people even before the shooting spree. You see, he was in prison for attempted murder, first degree, whatever and they let him out. And he could have did a lot more damage that they're not talking about because, you know, there were really people very upset and questioning so-called law enforcement more than we already do. As Memphis continues healing from that terrifying September day, Kelly's sentence ensures he will never again threaten public safety. Yet questions linger about how many future tragedies might be prevented with better support for at-risk youth before they reach the point of no return. I'm going to tell you right now, we are sitting on a powder keg. It's not just in Memphis. We are sitting on a powder keg right now of Ezekiel Kellys. I am sure there are more Ezekiel Kellys out there. You look at the programming through social media, through a lot of things, through the music, through the movies and the TV shows. There's a lot of things going on with our youth right now. They are being afflicted. The programming, you know, you talk about MK Ultra, you talk about Manchurian candidates. There's a lot of these people still out there waiting to implode and explode at the same time. They're waiting to implode and explode. So with that said, let's talk about that other victim that they were saying was one of the 4 victims. They're showing us 3 victims now that he's being held accountable for. What about the 4th victim that was allegedly part of this, but they took out the situation? And this is very important why we do stuff from our perspective, that we talk about these stories and offer another perspective and light upon said story. That the official story is not always the most truthful story. Like I said again, the official story It's not always the most truthful story. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna find this picture of this young lady. They said, well, she was a victim. Then they said she wasn't a victim. This We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. This young lady right here, let's talk about her a little bit. Because even this is like national news. New York Post says she was the first victim. All right, let's talk about this sister. And then they took her off that list. Let's see. Make sure. Reading this from the New York Post. And it said, a killing spree in Memphis that left 4 people dead and 3 wounded began with the fatal shooting of a man whom gunman Ezekiel Kelly had been talking with in front of mutual friends, police said. The 19-year-old gunman's rampage started around 1 a.m. Wednesday and ended at 9:30 p.m. that night when Kelly was arrested after leading cops on a chase from Mississippi to Memphis. Y'all heard what I said. So that's why it's important to read different sources to get different perspectives on the story. And you come to your own conclusion. But like Dick Gregory say, the breaking story, the first version is a rough draft. They revisit, they redraft everything, and so you get a certain story. Okay. Most of the victims have not been officially named yet, but family members identified on social media 17-year-old Corteria Wright as one of the fatalities and Rodolfo Berger as one of the wounded. Okay. The carnage began at a private home on Lindale Avenue where they discovered the body of 24-year-old Dwayne Tunstall. Police said Kelly and Tunstall were hanging out with a group of mutual friends when Kelly pulled Tunstall aside to talk with him. During the conversation, Kelly allegedly shot Tunstall in the head several times in front of 5 other people who were unharmed. It's unclear what prompted the shooting. Then around 4:38 p.m., Kelly, who has a violent criminal past, allegedly fatally shot a man who was sitting in his car on South Parkway East. Okay. 2 minutes later, Kelly reportedly shot a woman near Norris Road and Interstate 240, wounding her in the leg. Just before 6 p.m., Kelly live streamed himself walking into an AutoZone store on Jackson Avenue and shooting a man inside twice, after promising his online viewers that he wasn't faking and that it is real sugar honey iced tea. Y'all know what I'm saying. The victim, who was hospitalized in critical condition, was identified by his daughter as Rodolfo Berger. Today, my dad was a victim of a senseless act of violence, Jenny Berger wrote on her Facebook page. He was in AutoZone in Memphis, Tennessee, minding his own business, and someone came in and shot him while they were going live on Facebook. I'm still thinking I'm going to wake up from this viral nightmare. Okay. The daughter reported that her father had undergone surgery but will require another operation in a few days. After Memphis police issued a public alert warning people to be on the lookout for Kelly, he allegedly carjacked and shot a woman at Poplar Avenue and Evergreen Street, switching cars, which is not that far from me. The owner of the Toyota SUV died of her injuries at the scene. She was identified Thursday by city officials and her employer as Nurse Allison Parker. Parker, who worked as a medical assistant at the Family Practice Center of West Memphis, was reportedly with her daughter when she was killed. Wow, that's crazy. A woman claiming to be Parker's close friend wrote on Facebook that she left behind her 3 children and her fiance. She was the most beautiful and selfless person I ever had the honor of calling a friend, Taylor Linsky Perez wrote. This woman loved her children more than anything in this world, and right next to them was her fiance. Okay, West Memphis Police and Mayor Marco McClendon announced they will hold a citywide prayer vigil in Parker's honor Friday. A male shooting victim was also discovered at the same location and hospitalized in stable condition. Okay, this is the one, the victim's sister right here. At 8:55 p.m., police found a woman suffering from fatal gunshot wounds on West Range Road. A man claiming to be the victim's dad later shared an emotional video on Facebook reacting to the killing of his 17-year-old daughter, Corteria Wright. My baby just turned 17. Please stop the violence, Corterian Wright says through heart-rending sobs. I'm begging y'all, please stop the violence. Wright said his daughter was innocent and had just celebrated her birthday, August the 25th. After the fatal shooting of the teen, Kelly crossed the state line to Mississippi and reportedly carjacked the driver of a Dodge Charger at gunpoint. Okay, I talked about all that. If he just kept him in prison and served his 3 years for attempted first-degree murder, reckless endangerment, and aggravated assault, then that would not have happened back in September, on September 7, 2022. But this sister right here, they said that he took her life, right? Then the police said that she wasn't a victim. I believe this is a cold case now. They don't know who killed this young lady. But why they took it back? Because he did go into that, he was in that vicinity. Was the timeline was off? I mean, what was going on? That's interesting. But I said the official story is the official lie. I believe he might have killed more people that night, and they covering it up for Ezekiel Kelly, not just for him, just for perception-wise. But I hope truth comes out about what happened to this beautiful young lady, Corteria Wright. Like Baba Dick Gregory said, you got to pray at noon for the truth to come out. But yeah, this Ezekiel Kelly character is just that, a character. And the world is the stage. The world is WWE. And there are more Ezekiel Kellys out there. I mean, I'm in Memphis. This is YN Central, right? Y'all got this perception of Memphis being a wild, wild west. I always tell people, if I believe everything the local news said about Memphis, I'll be afraid to come outside. And that's just that. Memphis is not what y'all think it is, just like Chicago and Baltimore, Detroit. Name out them cities with a lot of black people. It's not what y'all think it is. It's interesting, though, I noticed, too, that local news be far behind social media, particularly black social media. Like, I've been noticing when things happen in Memphis, like, rappers getting shot, people getting shot randomly. On social media, they connect the dots. Like on YouTube, you got people from Cleveland, Ohio, not Cleveland, Tennessee. You got people from around the country that know the scene about Memphis, that know the inner workings of the criminal element of Memphis better than the local. It's like better than almost the local police do. I'm sure they're using YouTube and TikTok to solve these crimes in Memphis. Because, like, you think it's random. Oh, this is just random, senseless. No, it's very organized. It's organized chaos. This is very organized, what's going on. And this is by design, because it's the hate produced, right? You feeding the kids, like, you feeding them all this negative music, negative food, processed food, and air quality is crap. Water's been compromised. So you messing up people's behavior by design. I'm in Memphis, right? Y'all heard about the sister that took out her manager at McDonald's up in Detroit area, right? You heard about that sister taking her out. taking out her manager. How many of y'all know in Memphis, right? We had a situation at we call that place Wingstop. Wingstop on Winchester. A 25-year-old employee of Wingstop threw hot grease. She did an Al Green number. She threw hot grease, not grits, but hot grease on 2 female customers. They was arguing about 61 cents allegedly. So you threw hot grease on customers over 61 cents. These women have life-changing injuries, severe burns over 61 cents, and you are the employee of Wingstop. Was that the best way to de-escalate the situation? Or you look at even there's a couple blocks down the street from Wingstop. This is Memphis on Winchester, right? Winchester near Hash Cross, near the underpath of the 385. You had the general manager of Wendy's take the life of a man because he was arguing with his female employee about time off, day off, early, being able to leave early or taking time off of work. He threatened to slap her allegedly. She called some male companion. I don't know if it was a boyfriend or a relative or whoever she called. A man came up to Wendy's to confront the general manager. Wendy's policy states that you cannot have guns or weapons on the premises. You know, if you work at Wendy's, you cannot carry a gun on its premises, on their premises. This is the general manager of Wendy's, right? Him and the guy got into altercation. I guess the guy swung on him or whatever, but the guy didn't have any weapons outside his fist that I knew of. Meanwhile, the general manager had his gun drawn out. And the guy swung on him, he shot the guy, and then to add insult to injury as the guy lay dying in the parking lot because people had their smartphones out recording everything, he slaps the guy in the face. What's going on with the food? You have all these people that's crashing out at work. What are they putting in our food? Because I remember a couple of years ago with the Popeyes thing, when Popeyes chicken sandwiches first came out, right? Folks like were getting deleted over Popeyes chicken sandwiches. I haven't eaten a Popeyes chicken sandwiches in a couple of years. I was like, crazy about them when they first came out, but it's like kind of died down. But people lost their lives over Popeye chicken sandwiches. Popeyes, and they good, but are they good to die for? So with that said, there's a lot going on with that. Then let's talk about God bless the dead and the victims, the surviving victims. Hope they can find some peace and some closure if they can. And even Ezekiel Kelly, God ain't through with you yet. God has a plan for him. It reminds me of a case from decades ago. I did something on this on We All Be about Willie Bosquet, the most dangerous child prisoner in the country. He's older now. I don't know if he's still around, but Willie Bosquet. Look at Willie Bosquet, his story. This man was like, if Ezekiel Kelly he's like Ezekiel Kelly on steroids. That man did a lot of crazy stuff. And I guess he's in isolation, been in isolation for decades if he's still alive. But look up Willie Bosquet. Hey, but yeah, there's more Ezekiel Kelly's coming down the pipe. God help us all. Unfortunately. It's the hate produce. All right. So let's move on to another subject. Thank y'all for tuning out, to tune in again, to get in where you fit in with Brother Ron. And We All Be. Let me know if you rocking with it. Y'all enjoying it. You can hear me. And love you madly. What else going on? Wait a minute. So we're still doing in the aftermath of Mercury retrograde. Let's talk about Dr. Umar Johnson. Everybody's talking about Dr. Umar Johnson these days. For better or for worse, Dr. Umar Johnson, he stays in the algorithm. For better or for worse, Dr. Umar. But I have not come here to bash my brother. Let's talk about it. Let me get a sippy sip on this water. Dr. Umar Johnson is interesting. People call him a grifter, a scammer, things of that nature. I look at him as my brother. And a broke clock could be right twice a day, right? And Dr. Umar, I remember I learned about Dr. Umar Johnson. I was a janitor at Lamont Owen College. I was working through a cleaning business. They contracted the cleaning business I worked for. And I was a janitor at Lamont Owen College. And one of the employees there, they recognized me as Brother Ron. This was years ago. And he burned me a CD of Hidden Colors. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. A Hidden Colors CD. Because, yeah, Brother Ron, I love what you're doing. We all be, man. I'm a fan. Man, you ever heard of Hidden Colors? I said, no. I want you to check it out. So he gave me a burnt DVD of Hidden Colors. And that's how I was introduced to Dr. Umar Johnson for the first time. I was very impressed with Dr. Umar Johnson, his scholarship, the way he was able to connect the dots, the way he made it plain. You can tell he's a very intelligent brother. He had a little bit swag about him, a confidence. I wouldn't necessarily say he was cocky, but he was very much in command of the things he was talking about. Then you fast forward to 2016. I went to Knoxville, the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, for their Black History Month event where they had Dr. Umar Johnson as the lecturer. He was the keynote speaker. And my folks, they went to UT Knoxville. I was conceived, basically, I was created at UT Knoxville in a way. My parents met there back in the 70s. My father was from Saginaw, Michigan. My mom was from Memphis, Tennessee. They met for the first time at University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Come to find out, my father's 8th grade math teacher is my mom's aunt, who was originally from Mississippi. So I was meant to be here, folks. They had to come to University of Tennessee, Knoxville. They married. I'll conceive on their marriage night, on their wedding night, excuse me. And I came out April 23rd, 1980. But I never really cared for Knoxville like that. It had some type of weird frequency, like some weird vibe about Knoxville I get as I would drive through East Tennessee to get to the East Coast on several occasions throughout the years. I never really was too comfortable being in Knoxville. But anyway, Dr. Umar came there. He did his lecture. I was allowed to record it. The organizer, he allowed me to come there to cover it, and I recorded the lecture. And I met Dr. Umar afterwards. I brought his book. You see, I took a pictures with him. And what was interesting, Dr. Umar, I asked him, could I do an interview with him? He agreed to doing an interview with me. Because Dr. Umar always been like, he always given the Black media access to him. He was smart in how he utilized social media to give us access to him to promote his work. And it paid off dividends for him, I believe. I mean, by him doing interviews, by him allowing us to record him at these events that he would pay for. He just wanted to get the word out. He was the most requested Black scholar in the world. I believe that's still true today. He's the most requested Black scholar, self-proclaimed Prince of Pan-Africanism, self-proclaimed most requested Black scholar in the world. I mean, he's very polarizing. To me, being polarizing, when people know what they feel about you very strongly, is a sign of effectiveness and, dare I say, greatness. So anyway, it got kind of late because Dr. Umar was meeting and greeting, and he's very personable, very accessible brother. And he said, man, we got to postpone the interview. We could do it tomorrow at the hotel, the interview, but join us for dinner. So I said, okay, I'll join y'all for dinner. So we went to IHOP, and Dr. Umar was interesting because, people say mean things about Umar online, or they might say things like he's very cocky, ego. Everybody has an ego depending on context, people will be cocky and, sometimes cocky could be confidence. But anyway, I feel like Dr. Umar let his guard down a little bit at the late dinner. He talked about, spirituality, how he went over to Africa to get his African name, how he kept an ancestor altar. He believed in rituals, in terms of like honoring the ancestors through rituals and altars and stuff like that. And I thought he was being sincere. I don't think he was putting on an act about his personal practices as it relates to his spirituality. And was interesting. He paid for everybody's dinner. I wasn't expecting for him to pay. I mean, it's IHOP. I know I got a Philly cheesesteak, and I guess I'm easy to please, but he actually, I'm gonna pay for everybody. It's okay, cool. And then I met with him the next day before he caught his flight at the hotel in the lobby area, and I did an interview with Dr. Umar. I met him at a couple of times at different places that year of 2016, the year of the 9. It's like this year's the year of the 9. So that was a breakout year for We All Be TV, excuse me. And was able to follow Dr. Umar Johnson. I interviewed him Knoxville, interviewed him in Little Rock, interviewed him at the Slave Haven in Memphis, Tennessee. And I will cover his lectures and record them, and he will give me free access to him to talk about certain things, current events. And you see how Dr. Umar Johnson has been doing that over the last several years, going viral, Breakfast Club, Art of Dialogue, different platforms. But I was blessed to be able to have that access to him back in 2016. Now, with that said, I find it interesting that 10 years ago, what was going on with 10 years ago with Dr. Umar Johnson, with these women? This sister from Kansas City did Tasha K show that went woke viral, as they say. I say woke viral. And, 10 years ago, Dr. Umar had the situation with the conscious stripper. How many of y'all remember the conscious stripper that Dr. Umar had a situation with? It seems like Dr. Umar likes a certain type of woman. And a lot of these women, they messy. They want to talk about how Umar's messy, his home is messy, all that stuff. I believe they messy because they always spilling the tea. Like 10 years ago this summer was the conscious stripper. And those who've been following Umar for a long time, y'all remember the conscious stripper thing? People say, he got canceled. Now it's over for Umar. But Umar, 10 years later, he's still getting booked talks. So, she going the circuit talking about her situation with Umar. And this sister here, the Kansas City sister, I think it's weird because she said she sought out Umar to help her son, but her son never really met Umar. But she got busy with Umar after a couple months. It's like, to me, it reflects poorly on the women. More so than Umar. We all know Umar, he liked the sisters. Black queens forever, snow bunnies never, right? Something like that. He loved the sisters and the perks. I mean, he's a star. And people laugh, he's so dusty. I mean, no, he's well known. He's well known. His name get out there. He has a brand. And some people of opposite sex find him attractive. Really, it's not just about Umar. He's very intelligent. You got people that love knowledge. They call them sapiosexuals. Like you just in love with knowledgeable people or something like. What is it, sapiosexual? Let me look that up. Yeah, you got a lot of sapiosexuals out there. They love knowledge, and Dr. Umar has a lot of knowledge. And like I tell you got to treat Dr. Umar or anybody else. They got a lot of knowledge. They got charisma. They provide a service. Treat them like the mailman. I call it the mailman theory, where your mailman could be a crackhead, could be just the worst degenerate person there is. But as long as your mailman or mail person or mail lady delivers your mail on time, deliver your mail to your mailbox, and you get the mail that you need in order to, do what you got to do. Focus on that. Don't worry about what they're doing on the rest of their route. As long as they're in their personal lives, as long as the mail person delivers your mail and gets you the mail you need, then that's respected for that. Dr. Umar, He's a great mailman. He delivers the message. I mean, I like always the mail you receive, but it is what it is. But as far as his personal so-called flaws and shortcomings, we all human. And it's funny. I don't, these are females, right? Would be a scandal if he was involved with gay people. Like if he had a gay male strip, the gay male, the conscious gay male stripper stuff, the conscious stripper. Would it be a scandal if it was not straight sex he was dealing with in? Everybody got their fetishes. But my thing is, people, do we throw the baby out with the bathwater? Why would you want to counsel Dr. Umar when he just being a man? He no different than your preacher man that might have indulged in certain things. He's no different than that. You think about when people bring up, well, Malcolm would never be caught like this. I said, well, Malcolm didn't have social media back in the day. Because there was a letter years ago that was circulating that was on auction about about Malcolm X writing to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about how Dr. Betty Shabazz was treating him at the time. Allegedly, this letter was an authenticated letter that Malcolm wrote to Elijah Muhammad. He talked about how Betty used to downplay him in bed. Like Betty said he was no good in bed. He said that. He allegedly wrote this in Elijah Muhammad that my wife Betty said I was no good in bed. And that you think about Malcolm had 6 daughters. So he was doing something in bed. He wasn't shooting no blanks or nothing. But Betty said his sexual performance was lacking, allegedly. If this Google up this Malcolm X letter to Elijah Muhammad, and he said he told Elijah Muhammad, he said, "Look, man, I used to be a pimp. When it was all about controlling their mind. Even if he was lying about my sexual performance, that messes with my mind. Because people don't understand, it's not about the physical. You got the mental. When you control a person's mental, everything else follows in place. It falls in place. So Malcolm talking about, my woman talking about I ain't good in bed. That's gonna affect me. Even if she was just joking on being mean spirited, the fact she said that, then maybe it was an infidelity going on Betty's part in the relationship, or attempted infidelities. Like he said in the letter that I can remember that she was threatening him, "I'm gonna leave you for brother so and so from Chicago," something like that. It may not be like that, but it's like what I can recall, like some years ago. Somebody shared this letter with me that Malcolm allegedly wrote. So you think about that, and I also think about the fact that Elijah Muhammad, had there been social media back then, all them young girls would have came. They were young women. I don't think they would. Was Elijah Muhammad really messing around with young girls, or what is young women? Like they were of age of consent. But that would have been a scandal if they had social media. Because Malcolm already was going to the press with it. But imagine if he had social media to amplify. So think about all the stuff y'all like to follow on social media, all this low vibrational stuff. So he put all this stuff out about the messenger, about all these women he had a harem of women, allegedly. And that goes and spin it. You got the AI now, how they do Diddy with the AI. You got the AI stuff going on. Imagine they had that back in 1960s. And Malcolm be trolling like 50 Cent. Malcolm did live in Queens, right? Was it Queens? His house got firebombed. So Malcolm be trolling like 50 Cent. So I'm saying, y'all ask a lot of Dr. Umar that we don't hold our own selves accountable. But I'm saying for people to say, well, Malcolm and Dr. King, they had social media back in the day. Come on now. Dr. King, they say he loved catfish and cat and smoking, he chain smoked, he drunk alcohol. Dr. King had some habits. He was no different than any other big time preacher, though. But with that said, it doesn't take away from what he did, what he sacrificed and committed his life to. You understand? So Dr. Umar, for all his shortcomings, you can't tell me that the information he delivered over the years wasn't on point. Like, it did not help you. Now, with the school thing, it's interesting. Because people talking about, well, he didn't deliver on the school. I never gave money to Dr. Umar for his school. Dr. Umar was very generous with his time with me in terms of allowing me access to him to interview in terms of excuse me, hello, in terms of recording his lectures. That helped me get my name out there and make a little coin to help me travel and stuff and document other things. But I never gave money to the school, and I don't think people should feel bad who gave money to the school. I'm gonna tell you why, because your government takes money from you. Y'all don't ask for the same type of accountability from government as y'all do for Dr. Umar Johnson. The government be robbing everybody. Donald Trump did that Doge. Y'all talk about some Elon Musk, but it exposed a lot of things about government wasteful spending and how they just take our money. You look at the state of our infrastructure. Y'all talking about Russia and Dubai and all these places. They got state of the art. They got state of the art living over there, transportation, everything. We stuck in the Stone Ages in America in terms of our infrastructure. So I wish that we had the same type of this anger and resolve to hold the government accountable as a lot of us do Dr. Umar Johnson. I think the world would be a better place if these institutions was held to a standard that a lot of us would like to hold Dr. Umar Johnson to. That's what I'm trying to say. And the thing, I say I don't, it was Ezekiel Kelly or Dr. Umar Johnson, I don't like to kick a black man when he's down. I don't celebrate anybody going to prison. I don't celebrate anybody having a hard time at it. I don't do that. I don't believe in it. I really don't. I know how people treat me. Yes, Dr. Umar, Little Rock, I gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. This is back in 2016. And also, I made a shirt with his counter likeness on it, counter likeness with Frederick Douglass and Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, giving him his due, his flowers. So we did a Lifetime Achievement Award. And what I would say about Dr. Umar Johnson went to school, so what? And school, you know what? But the school could still happen. Well, the school, it takes a village. Dr. Umar, they say he raised over $1 million. He about to lose that building in Delaware. Stuff happens. It's not the end of the world. He still got some time. God ain't through with him yet. My thing is, people, like with the school thing, people say, well, he should give up that dream. I say he shouldn't give up the dream. Because you think about history, you look at, really, people don't make their marks. People always talk about when young people, like people impressed with a Tupac or a Jimi Hendrix or somebody like that died real young, or even Fred Hampton. But my thing is, they weren't even in their prime when they died. They were not in their prime. Very talented, very gifted, but this system robs a lot of us of our prime. Even if we live into our prime, we're not at the level we should be because we've been robbed by the system in terms of how they deplete our confidence, our resources, our knowledge of self. So what they said, I don't believe it's over for Dr. Umar in his school. I believe that he got to have an honest reflection about the situation, about his own situation. I don't know the brother that well to know what's going on with him personally, but he got to have that come to whatever moment, ancestors and universe soul God. And it's not over till it's over. I believe the school can still happen, but what's happening is that he missed out on a generation of kids that could have benefited from his school. Like, people say he's been trying to raise money for school for almost 20 years. A generation is 20 years, right? But my thing is not to dictate that he should give up whatever he's trying to do. He should, go all in on it. I would think, like, as an approach, I've been thinking about this too. Like, let's say if he took a portion of the money he raised and invested it in stocks and Bitcoin or something, that could have probably helped him, get that school off with an endowment. Because I believe his school gonna need an endowment. Any institution needs an endowment that's going to last beyond a generation or so. I could think that he could use I don't know if he's been reached out to by people like Robert F. Smith, the multi-billionaire. who forgave the loans and debts of the Morehouse graduating class that he was the keynote speaker for, I believe back in 2018. Did he have the guy who know how to he made most of his money behind the scenes and investments and stuff. He said a team of people he could talk to help him move this money, to invest this money, to get a great return on that money. So he would be in the process of not only having the school built, but also having an endowment, and also get the staff. He needs the staff. He's gonna be principal. He gotta be leading the staff. So I don't know what the situation is, but it's a great undertaking. And you got models of boarding and black schools that work. Look at Piney Woods outside of Jackson, Mississippi. Piney Woods was started by Kathy Hughes' father. Kathy Hughes, who created Radio 1 and TV 1, that Kathy Hughes, her father started Piney Woods down in Mississippi back in the 20th century. That dude had a gift for the gab. He had a silver tongue. They said that white folks were trying to lynch him back in the day. He talked on white folks out of lynching him. Not only did he talked on white folks out of lynching him, they raised money for his school. He got the white folks that wanted to kill him. He inspired them to raise money for his school. Piney Woods still exists to this day as a boarding school for black kids. Down in Mississippi, look up Piney Woods. And that's Kathy Hughes' father, the founder of Radio 1, TV 1. Media mogul Kathy Hughes, who used to do co-host a talk show with Baba Dick Gregory back in the day. That was very popular in D.C. They're Kathy Hughes. So it's still possible Dr. Umar do his thing. And I wish him well. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me, because it's kind of like this microphone. I get a new microphone. Y'all give me some donations. Yeah, I'll get a new microphone and a new setup. But anyway, but I wish Dr. Umar well in his journey, but I just think it's really interesting. Like every 10 years, Dr. Umar get into this female scandal stuff. But I promise you, they had social media back in Dr. King, Malcolm Day and all that, Elijah Muhammad Day. There'll be women out there with loose tongues, loose lips of all times. Excuse me, loose lips of all kinds sink ships, baby. But I bet you believe there'll be mistresses coming out back in the day. Yeah, so and so. Even Bear Rustin. But Bear Rustin probably would not be thrown under the bus because all his lovers were gay. It's like it's only a scandal when it's straight heterosex. It's not a scandal when it's gay. Like if Shannon Sharp was messing around with a male OnlyFans model or escort, you think you'll get this much pushback? It was like a 19-year-old. It's like even with Bishop Eddie Long, I found it hilarious, not in a ha-ha way, but to me it's a ha-ha way. You know, how they try to paint Bishop Eddie Long. To me, Bishop Eddie Long was a hypocrite because he'll bash gay people on his platform, knowing good well that he had a harem of black boys or black men that he used to take around the world and give them everything. And the only reason we found out about it is because he stopped paying for their lifestyle. So to me, this was consensual. The young guys was consensually involved with Bishop Eddie Long. But the reason why, allegedly, I assume, from what I can gather, allegedly, the reason why we found out about Eddie Long's dark side or his other side, his fetish sides for black males, was because he stopped paying that lifestyle. He stopped buying them cars, them homes, them foreign trips. And that's why he got exposed. Same thing with R. Kelly. When he stopped supplying the lifestyle, that's when they threw the book at him. So that's why I feel about it. But Dr. Umar, you know, wish you the best, young man. God ain't through with you yet. America loves a good comeback story. America loves a good comeback story. America loves a good comeback story. So keep on coming back, Dr. Umar. If the market is willing to pay for your services, by all means, keep on coming back. But people learn that the only person that can save you is yourself. Dr. Umar ain't qualified to save you. You are only qualified to save you. And baby, if you're not qualified to save you, you are in trouble, and not no good trouble at that. So that's my take on Dr. Umar, whatever. I ain't gonna throw the man on the bus. He did a lot of good for people. whether they admit to it or not, but he likes a certain type of woman. To me, the women that Dr. Umar involves himself in, based on what I know on social media evidence, ain't going to be the women that going to carry your legacy when you're gone, my brother. Look at one thing about the leaders that we admire. For the most part, a lot of them married the right type of woman. So when they pass on, the legacy doesn't die with them. Case in point, Coretta Scott King was that one. When Dr. King got taken out of here on April 4th, 1968, the next day she was already working on his legacy. She was already working on building the King Center. She was already working on trying to make his birthday a national federal holiday. And a lot of folks close to the movement, and allegedly to her husband, told her, you need to just bury the man. She said, no, I'm not. I'm going to bury the man, but I'm going to continue the plan. And that's what she did. So Dr. King married the right type of woman. Instead of him marrying that German cafeteria worker at the seminary school, he married an aspiring opera singer who came from a family that believed in Black excellence and, being self-sufficient. Her father owned a grocery store in Alabama next to her childhood home and church. And that still stands. That structure still stands. I saw it last month in July. But anyway, think about Medgar Evers, Myrlie Evers. He married the right type of woman to carry his legacy forward. He died at 37, but Myrlie right now is pushing the 100. They got the Myrlie Evers and Medgar Evers Institute down in Mississippi. NAACP had to apologize to her because not only did they not provide security for her husband when he requested it, they also needed her to bail them out because she stepped into leadership position, I think back in the 90s. NAACP was about to close its doors. It was in a lot of trouble, not good trouble. And Myrlie came along and helped save the NAACP. So this is why it's important that as a man of renown, of respect, of leadership, of prophecy, that men like that need to be in alignment with the right type of woman. The woman that's going to carry their legacy forward. So, like I said, I wish Dr. Umar the best. I know that he got a lot of great things to come, and it's going to be a stepping stone. I think people are going to wake up because I think to hold him so accountable as a people, and then we don't hold the government accountable for what they do to us with our drinking water, with our air, with our food. Y'all mad at Trump. Y'all mad at Umar. What's the difference? But anyway, moving on to the next story. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. And I just everybody got a podcast now. When I started, it was hardly anybody out here with a podcast. Now everybody got a podcast. So I said, let me get back on my ass cast. Better get up, get out, and get something, man. Find something else. Yeah, man, there's a lot going on, man. Let's talk about this now. It's so scary. I don't call it Sha'Carri. So scary Richardson, because she be melting down. She be crashing out, boy. She's like a crash out dummy, man. She be crashing out, and yet she get bailed out by the DEI angels. What it seems like to me. It's like it's a double standard, and I want to talk about this. I did not plan on talking about this, but we all know what happened last month at the airport up in Seattle, where she beating on the man. Kind of remind me of those stories that Judge O'Brown talked about how Tina Turner used to beat up on Ike Turner too. Like Tina was beating up on Ike as well. Thank you, sister. Thank you for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in. Thank you. Tuning out to get in where you fit in. Peace to you as well. Can you understand the words coming out my mouth now, man? Everybody had their little slip-ups and stuff like that. I mean, they used to talk about the mayor of Chicago, Richard Daley. He was known for slipping up his language, not enunciating things correctly and getting things out of order. But he kept Chicago in order for decades. So, whatever. I'm working through it. Anyway, let's talk about this brother. He's such a Christian. Christian Coleman, the alleged boyfriend of Sha'Carri Richardson. I call her so scary. She's so scary because she's like an emotional volcano, man. I tell you the truth, man. She ain't no joke. She from Dallas or something. She got the hood up in her. That's a hood girl. Well, she be, she's something else. But anyway, she was caught on cameras, multiple cameras, beating up on her boyfriend, who's also a track star in his own right, I guess. He's a track athlete. Not on the level of a Sha'Carri or so scary Richardson. I mean, she's gold-winning Olympic competitor, all that stuff. But she was beating on him, man. Threw her headphones at him. Police were called by TSA. She was trying to play the victim, and they ended up arresting her and not him because she wasn't the victim. And she was surprised because I guess the man's supposed to always get arrested in domestic violence situation, right? A domestic situation is always the man's fault, and that's not always the case, as we all well know. Oh yeah, she rainbow mob. Somebody said she thought that yeah, because at first when she came out, she was like in a relationship with a woman. And that brings up a good point because, a lot of these studs and stuff, they get involved in domestic violence situations. A lot of them have, I know some women who are, part of the rainbow mob or rainbow clique or cult, whatever. And they have situations with domestic abuse issues with their partners. I know of a coworker. She couldn't get no background. Her background was suspect. She tried to get cleared for a job we had to do. They wouldn't clear it because of her record. And she also dealing with some stuff right now in real time. But no, she cool and stuff. But a lot of these studs and lesbians, they be having issues at home. Because, when you think about domestic violence, they all want to think about it's the man beating up on a woman. A lot of times it's women on women crime. It's carpet on carpet crime. They beating each other up. So, yeah, she had a girlfriend at one point, from my understanding. But I want to read what the brother said. He didn't press no charges, even though he should have pressed charges. But I guess she'll call him a coward and stuff. I think it's crazy. How he's the coward? How is he the coward? That's insane. But anyway, let me try to find the story. Read about it a little bit. So Christian Coleman, Sha'Carri Richardson's boyfriend, speaks out about her arrest. Okay. Christian Coleman defended Sha'Carri Richardson after an alleged incident at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport in which Richardson was arrested for domestic violence, according to the police report obtained by USA Today Sports. Police say Coleman was the victim in the incident. For me personally, I feel like it was a sucky situation all around. Coleman said Sunday, I don't feel like she should have been arrested. I mean, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. She has things she needs to work on for herself, of course. So do I. So do you. So does everybody. But I'm the type of guy who's in the business of extending grace and mercy and love. Okay. Very diplomatic young man. Very diplomatic. Very interesting. Coleman competed in the 100 and 200 meters at the U.S. Track and Field Championships. He failed to qualify for next month's World Championships. He ran a season best 9.86 in the 100 and placed fifth. He placed sixth in the 200, running a season best 20.02. The sprinter said incident at the airport didn't affect him at the U.S. Championships. Yeah, yes, it did. Man, it threw out your focus, dude. Your own woman attacking you. She supposed to bring peace to you, man, at a time like that. She brought chaos. Yeah, it did affect your performance, bro. Coleman is a 3-time world championship gold medalist. Okay. He won the 100 at the 2019 World Championships. Okay, he award winning too. He ain't no scrub. He ain't no scrub. He ain't no dusty. Richardson scratched from the 100 competition after running in the world in the opening round. Okay, that's Richardson. So scary. Scratched from the 100 competition after running in the opening round. She automatically qualified for this year's World Championships due to being the defending champion. Richardson didn't qualify in the 200. Okay. Richardson declined comment to reporters at the U.S. Championships. She's a human being and a great person, Coleman said. To me, she's the best female athlete in the world. I see it every day. Then at the end, it said, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 7233. Once again, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Man, sound like he a victim of Stockholm Syndrome. This woman beat on him. No telling what she been doing in the dark. You know, what done in the dark comes to the light. She's out of control. They're giving her too many passes. She is like she is the face of DEI. Not saying that she ain't qualified to do what she do, but she getting all types of passes. Imagine if that was him doing that to her. This man would have been counseled. This man showed her grace and everything. He sounds like he's a class act, but it also sounds like he's in denial. Now, she issued some type of 40-second thing on her social media account, asking for his forgiveness. But I'm sure she's been pummeling him for a minute now. This ain't nothing that just happened spontaneously. And it did affect his performance because all eyes were on him. You also had people talking about what was going on or what went on at the airport. But she thought this man was going to be arrested. This is how it's dangerous. Women out here are dangerous, man. Women will put you in situations. People talking about believe women. No, I believe them to be women. I believe women are capable of doing anything on the human spectrum like men. I ain't gonna believe a woman to be telling the truth just because she's a woman, just because she got a vagina. This woman didn't care that this man had a career. She was trying to destroy his career. The way she acts, she didn't care about that man. She don't care about that man. She see him as a possession, as an object, as a pet. I don't even know them. This is the vibe I get. She's very entitled. She's very entitled. But these women, a lot of these women are out of control, though. I mean, she is the prototype for that. You look at how she, the eyelashes, tattoos, the long fingernails, all that stuff. How's she gonna scratch her nose or her ass with them long fingernails? I guess he had to scratch her nose and her ass for her. Very entitled. And this is nonsense. I don't care how many gold medals she won and all that stuff. She don't treat nobody like that, especially your man. Men, we are taught not to put our hands on women. There have been women that tried me. They should know they shouldn't try me. But it's women that are bold enough to try men. I'm a big dude, and women will try to put hands on you and stuff like that. They want to try. They don't, man, I got the patience of Job sometimes. But everybody got everybody got a breaking point. Just like she got a breaking point. He got a breaking point. But my thing is, I believe the brother should step away from her. Because next time might be something else. It may not be something he could bounce back from and defend her on. He may not be around to defend her. He needs to back away from her. She's volatile. She's because God gave us warning. God give me warning all the time. I like to play with fire. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not judging the bro on that. Sometimes you women that's feisty like that, it could be attractive in the right situations, being certain type of aggressive, certain type of feisty. But bro, man, if you love yourself, do what's right by yourself. You don't need no consent. You don't need to be validated by anybody. If you want to stay with her, because you know her better than I do. Or anybody for that matter. That's your business. But I'm saying, brother, you sound you a class act. Even when you're trying to bail her out with the police, she threw you on the bus, man. As you was bailing her out with the police at the airport, she was trying to destroy your character, bro. She'll try to get you to share a cell with Tory Lane. Free Tory Lane. or Tory Lanez or Tory Lane. But I'm saying it's scandalous out here. I remember Marilyn Santana. You played Romeo on Steve Harvey show. Girl set him up, marked him for death. Girl, he a player, whatever. He did what he did, just whatever. Girl was in her feelings. Girl put men in her family, put batteries in their back to take out Marilyn Santana. She said Romeo must die. And they did it. And she out of prison, from my understanding. Them guys in prison. See, women don't even care about their own men and their family. It's like, I think about what happened in Wendy's. That girl called the male, I don't know if that her boyfriend, whoever. He came out to defend her honor. Next thing you know, he dead. Got killed at Wendy's. The food didn't kill him, but the general manager did. Women will put guys in perilous situations off of BS and don't blink an eye about it. Whether it be Carolyn Bryant, whether it be, I had a classmate from high school. He was known as Billy. Very handsome guy. Had I think green eyes, green brownish eyes. Girls went crazy, reddish brown hair. Women went crazy. Girls went crazy in the high school. I remember I looked it up like several years ago. He was killed, I believe, in Orange Mound. Legendary Orange Mound, A.L.L, MJG. One of the first black communities in the country where black folks own their homes in the whole country, Orange Mound. Let me see. Stuff falling off my desk. Get this right. He got set up by a good-looking girl. She set him up. He got murked. He got set up, and she's doing football numbers in prison, I believe. Nice-looking woman, but set him up to get robbed or whatever, and he got killed. And so it happens all the time, man. It's scandalous. So with Sha'Carri, man, there's a lot of dudes getting beat up by women. They don't talk about it. There's a lot of women think they got a right to put their hands on men in a very disrespectful and traumatizing way. I have met women, these were educated women. They tell me, Ron, if a dude ain't trying to fight me, he don't love me. These are women that got educations, got degrees, that run them. A man ain't fighting me and putting hands on me. I ain't putting hands on him. We don't love each other. I don't know what type of love that is. I don't want it. If I got to put hands on you, we don't need to be together. That's crazy. I should not have to fight the world and fight my woman at the same. I should not have to fight the world out there and then come home to fight my woman. We should be on the same page. And Coleman, I don't know if she paying you out, she cash app you some money or whatever, Vimo or Zelle you some money. Brother, you being around to spend that money, is it worth it? Because a girl could crash out at any moment. She from Texas. I know she know how to use a gun. But that thing must be crazy, boy. She must, crazy woman got that crazy cat. Meow, meow, scratch you up a long time. But be careful, my brother. And moving on from that story. Well, as I said, I was going to talk about. I'm sorry for my raspy voice. And for my enunciation may be off. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this. Let's bring it back home. You said call them folks, man. I'm for real. I'm going to keep that number in my contact list. The Lord knows, I can't judge no Umar and this brother right here. I know I've been something about crazy women, man. Then it's something about them to something you don't want to deal with no more. It's fun for the moment. It's fun. Oh, crazy makeup, sex, and all that. Oh, that's great. She give me love, 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 crazy love. That Brian McKnight song, Crazy Love. She gives me love, love, love. Then like that Jasmine Sullivan breaking windows out your car. I never experienced that, but I know people that have experienced that type of stuff. Women stalking you. You be sleeping on your couch. Your blind is open. I had come home. My uncle was sleeping on the couch. He would live with us. He was a playboy. He was sleeping on the couch in the den. Blinds open. Music blasting, whatever. Old girl he was messing around with was in her car parked watching him. And then she saw us come. She just drove away. And we told my uncle about it. He had car windows busted out. He went through a lot of crazy stuff with women. But my thing is this, be careful out there, folks. Oh yeah, everybody do. She got that cat, man. Change her brother life. Change her brother life. You know, come and stop being coordinated. Andre 3000 playing flutes and doing all your AT But I'm saying, yeah, y'all got this stuff is real. Soul ties are real. Soul ties are real. It is women that put that thing on you. And everybody do is interest, because I know she probably into like the occult and stuff like that. Like I said, August 16th, day American royalty dies. It's the death date of Babe Ruth, Robert Johnson, Aretha Franklin, and Elvis Presley, August the 16th. So, man, y'all got to be careful when people putting out spells. You can't eat everybody's spaghetti. You can't eat every woman's spaghetti. She'll give you some spaghetti and fish. I ain't talking about no catfish. But let me move on. Thank you, bro. It's so much stuff I want to talk about, but I'm gonna wrap it up in under 2 hours. I'll be done in under 2 hours, and I'll do another show. Like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. You know, subscribe to this channel, support the movement. All right, I'm talking about John Morant, and I ain't gonna talk about him in a bad way. He did good. The brother did good this time. I'm talking about the folks that try to play him like he was a nobody. I'm talking about that now. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. We all be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. So much happening in the world today. So much going on. Okay. Wing Guru. You know, Memphis is not just home of barbecue, but also, man, Memphis is like so blessed. You got some of the best wing spots in the country, as far as I'm concerned. You go to a hole in the wall in Memphis, find some of the best wings on this side of Mississippi. You understand? Lemon pepper. You got the lemon pepper. Like Rick Ross, lemon pepper. You know, Rick Ross would make lemon pepper ride with anything. Got that honey barbecue, that lemon pepper. Her pussy tastes like lemon pepper. They try to rob John Morant of his bag. This is Memphis. They'll rob you in broad daylight. They'll rob you in the courts, man. But they try to rob him of his bag, man. John Morant, Ring Guru. I went to the Wing Guru. It was founded back in 2016. They got some good wings. They got a good hamburger. I love their pork rinds. Their pork rinds are amazing. Amazing pork rinds. They got some good pork rinds, man. You can actually, I think, buy them from Cash Savers. I went up to Wing Guru. It costs more buying them directly from Wing Guru than I guess as Cash Savers on Madison. I'm gonna stop by Cash Savers this upcoming week. Give me some pork rinds. Some Wing Guru. But they wings ain't that bad. Ain't my first choice for wings, but the wings are decent. Cause I like Huey's. I like Central Barbecue's jerk wings. You got Crumpies. You could never go wrong with Crumpies. So those some wing spots I like. But they owe John Morant a bag. You know, y'all were talking about John Morant, a gangster. The most gangster thing he did, as far as I'm concerned, is take it to the court. Not the basketball court, but to the court downtown Memphis. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. We all be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Wing Guru must pay $365,000 owed to Memphis Grizzlies star John Morant, judge rules. Story from Lucas Fenton, the Memphis Commercial Appeal via USA Today. August 15, 2025. The Wing Guru, a wing restaurant chain in Memphis, must pay Memphis Grizzlies star John Morant more than $365,000 in arbitrator rule he is owed. The enforcement ruling was entered into Friday, August the 15th by Shelby County Chancellor Melanie Taylor Jefferson. Representatives from the Wing Guru have not responded to Morant's filings in the case. Jefferson ruling affirms what retired federal judge Bernice Donald, the arbitrator, found that the Wing Guru owed Morant $365,525.30 for using his name, image, and likeness to advertise its wings. According to filings from Morant's attorney, the restaurant withheld payments from the NBA star 4 months after a contract between him and the Wing Guru was signed in January 2022. The contract allowed the company to use Morant's image for advertising purposes. In exchange, Morant was paid $6,250 a month, totaling about $75,000 a year. Okay. Okay. When he stopped receiving payments, the filing goes on to say that Morant's attorneys sent a letter to the Wing Guru in November 2022, asking the company to true up to the more than $43,000 that was owed to Morant. The restaurant did not respond per the filing. Okay, that's bad business, y'all. Mr. Morant followed up via email, to which Wing Guru replied, "You guys will get the entire $75,000 by January the 1st. Relax. Thanks for your understanding." Yeah, they the problem. Y'all the problem. Pay the man his money. The petition read, but Wing Guru made no payments by January the 1st, 2023, or at any other time. The damages Donald assessed to the Wing Guru included the $43,750 that remained on Morant's contract, $225,500 in compensatory damages, $75,000 for each of the 3 cities where the Wing Guru used Morant's likeness, and $31,250 in punitive damages for advertising outside of the contract area. The Wing Guru, under the ruling, must also pay Morant's attorney's fees. There you go, folks. In late March this year, Billy Richmond, the owner of the Wing Guru, was indicted in Shelby County for tax fraud and theft. The theft charges in Richmond's indictment were alleged to have taken place between January 1st, 2018 and January 1st, 2022. Richmond opened the Wing Guru in 2016. He was charged with 1 count of theft of property over $250,000 and 2 counts of falsification of revenue tax. His bail was set at $50,000, which he posted. He will next be in court September 15th for a report date before a criminal court judge, Jennifer Mitchell. The Wing Guru has faced other legal problems outside of Morant's lawsuit and Richmond's arrest. Over its nearly decade-long existence, Richmond and his company face questions about the business leadership and owes nearly $4 million in damages to his franchisees. $4 million he owed. Wow. Billy Richmond used to play for John Calipari at the University of Memphis. He used to be a college basketball player for John Calipari. So here's the thing. Y'all act like with Stephen A. Smith, his weirdo self, in Memphis, John Morant is like Tupac he like Bishop from Juice. John Morant handled this like a real G. John Morant, you did the most gangster thing possible. You sent your lawyers for your bag. In this country, the most gangster thing, have you some Jewish lawyers or lawyers get that bag for you and bring it back to you, baby. You did the right thing, brother. You ain't crazy. You ain't deranged. You ain't insane. You in your right black God mind. So you didn't pull up on Billy Richmond at the Wing Guru and pull a gun on him. You didn't do like Bishop from Juice. Brother, you did what you supposed to do. Salute to you. Man, Billy, what's going on, pal? $4 million you owe people? Wow. Wings, man. Wings ain't making no money. The Wings all right. I guess that stuff crazy, folks. But I just want to shout that story out. John Morant showed some shine on him how he handled that. He handled his business like an adult. He did the right thing. He said, brother, Ron eats pork. Yeah, man, I eat in moderation, man. You know, I eat all types of things in moderation. And I'm working on it on my health journey. But anyway, yeah, John Morant doing his thing. And hopefully get that bag. So, but Billy, man, he owed people $4 million. My God. You have any life insurance policies or anything like that out? Anyway, Memphis always get a black eye in the news cycle, and I just want to change it a little bit. I believe Ja Morant deserved to have some shine on him, some positive shine. And he deserved his bag. Okay. And also, I'm going to close it out. Thank y'all, family. Close out with this. It's been on my mind. One of my favorite gangsters of all time, Bugsy Siegel. He's been on my mind. Because I say this, because, like, you know, it's interesting. I always find it interesting about history. Like I said, the official story is always the official lie. Give my man Bugsy some light before I get out of here. He's like, he ain't like black people. I don't really care. Y'all be caring about if they like black people, they love black people. I like to study history. I like to study people in history. I love to study polarizing figures in history. It's not about liking and loving. You love yourself. You know, I thought he was fascinating. The reason why I bring up Bugsy Siegel is because of this. It's like what they've been told about why he got killed. They say he was skimming money from the casino, the Flamingo, that he ran for the mob. He helped, built the Flamingo. Flamingo was actually a passion project, of the businessman from L.A., Billy Wilkerson. He actually named the Flamingo. Like the story goes that the Flamingo was named after Virginia Hill, his mistress, whatever, side piece, partner in crime, whatever, because of her legs. And Virginia Hill wasn't that good looking to me. But I think with Virginia Hill, what it was is like, if you see her in person, she had the aura about her. Because you look at her pictures, she look kind of fat and all this stuff. Black dudes like fat white girls. So anyway, that said, Bugsy, people tell you, well, Bugsy was killed because he was skimming money from the casinos. The project spiraled out of control. It put up like $1 million project, ended up costing the mob $6 million. They was mad, but in reality, the casino was making back his money at the time of Siegel's death. The real reason I believe that Siegel was killed because this man owned 800 acres of what is now known as Las Vegas Strip. Bugsy Siegel owned 800 acres of land that became the Las Vegas Strip. That land is worth, like they said, could have been worth probably like $27 billion. It could have been possible that Bugsy Siegel could became a billionaire. He could have became one of the wealthiest people in the world if he owned 800 acres of the Vegas Strip. He probably used the money he got from the mob to purchase a lot of that land. Imagine if Bugsy lived long enough to be able to sell that land and become a multi-billionaire. He probably would have had more money than Howard Hughes, who's one of the wealthiest men, or if not the wealthiest man in the world, who ended up buying out Vegas and stuff. He had his Mormon mafia. Bugsy could have had his own mafia. He could have outgrew the mob, outgrew Lucky Luciano Malinowski. He could have got the Mormons to run his empire, like Howard Hughes got the Mormons. A lot of the Mormons were good in linguistics and stuff. They studied languages. So a lot of them was hired within the CIA and the FBI. So Bugsy could have had the government mob backing him instead of the La Cosa Nostra, commission mob. So I believe Bugsy might have got killed because he owned all that land. 800 acres of what is now known as Las Vegas Strip. Thank you all for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in. Where's Great Duke Ellington? We love you madly. Y'all know how to support. You cash out your support at at R2C2H2, excuse me. Thank you for all for donating. You got all the ways you can do it. Become a Patreon member, patreon.com/WeAllBe. Where's the Great Duke Ellington? We love you madly. PayPal and Zelle your support. R2C2H2 @gmail.com. Vimo at R2C2H2. Apple Cash 901-299-4355. And know that the best is yet to come. One love.